All right, so Morocco is riding high, seeing if they can try to make it to the semifinals of back-to-back World Cups. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it because they're meeting a very tough Netherlands team. But nevertheless, they can go toe-to-toe with Netherlands. And to me, this is basically a semifinal matchup. Morocco is just that good. They're good enough to make it to the semifinals. The one of the surprises is their two teenage midfielders. I know and Abu Dhabi. These guys are fantastic. The young guys who play basically a double pivot along sometimes with Amrabat. So what's helping this team so much is they have a very solid midfield. They play a mid block, but it's an aggressive mid block where Hakimi tends to overlap, and then you have Diaz on the right wing. So their right side of attack is very, very good, and it makes things easy for El Kaibi, especially crosses which come in from Diaz and openings which Diaz and Hakimi create overloading. Now they're going to be meeting a Dutch team, which is fantastic. We have always known that the Dutch team is a defensive team. Under I think it was Van Gaal in the last World Cup, they were very defensive, didn't give up a lot of goals, went toe to toe with Argentina. Argentina had to struggle to beat them. But this new Dutch team right now is not only strong in defense with Van Dijk and Dumfries and Van Deven, but they also are very forward progressive because you've got Gravenberch, De Jong, and Reinders. And Gravenberch, De Jong, and Reinders aren't your typical Dutch midfielders who just hold the ball and play defensively. They're very aggressive. They have a high work rate and they move far forward. They don't really have a lot of creativity, but they move very far forward, and they're all three of them are basically like attacking midfielders. Although De Jong will sit back and will be the one to give the vertical passes, Gravenberch and Reinders do a lot of work, and they're very, very aggressive. Along with Gakpo and Droby in front, Holland has scored 10 goals. 10 goals in the first three matches of the World Cup. So funny enough, they're scoring a lot of goals. So what you're going to have here is a team of Holland, which is going to play a high line, which is going to use Dumfries to overload on the right with Gakpo, and which is also going to try to squeeze and press Morocco. But what you've got with Morocco is the opposite. Morocco plays a mid block. They play patiently, and they will dare you to try to they'll absorb your pressure. And then once they absorb your pressure through the right, especially through Hakimi and Diaz, they have a deadly counterattack. So what this is basically the aggression of Holland, the aggressive midfield, which likes to attack and destroy, versus the patient midfield and mid block of Morocco, along with a disciplined defense, which will go in mid-block, absorb your pressure, and then try to counterattack. So this is going to be a bloody game. I'm going to give the slight advantage to the Netherlands because I think that the Netherlands has more depth and they can change their tactics. If I were the coach for Netherlands, I wouldn't be too aggressive. What I would try to do is to sit back a little bit more and rely on De Jong and Reinders to build spaces for Gakpo and Broby. In other words, to try to unlock defenses rather than try to use that high aggressive press. They can use that, but if that's not working or if that's leading to counterattacks, which could lead to Morocco scoring, I think the Netherlands needs to make substitutions or make personnel changes to have a more possession game and let De Jong control the pace of the game rather than Reinders and Gravenberch. What do you think, Segodi? But I'm predicting that this game is going to be about 2-2 or maybe slight advantage to Netherlands because I think Netherlands has more depth and they have a more flexible midfield and attack, whereas Morocco is going to have to play their main starters and stick to their formula without being able to have as much tactical adjustments. What do you think, Segodi?
No, absolutely. Like you see this Dutch team, they don't have that kind of creative player like your your classic number 10. They don't
Yeah,
have that, but they cover that with their overloads.
yeah.
They're so good on overloads. They know how to overload their sides, and they're very good on it. They're very opportunistic on counter attack, and they do take their chances as well
Yeah.
when they get those type of chances. And they do have a number 9 as well. So Dion is very pivotal for them. Uh, I see them going far. But when we look at Morocco as well, Morocco is very good. They're very creative with Diaz playing like Yamal. Like uh, Diaz plays a creative part in the Morocco team, like your Yamal in the Spain team, which is very deadly. But the problem with Morocco is they do have a first 11, but they lack a bit on their bench. Like their bench doesn't bring the same energy. And the key here is who can withstand the weather. Like, because the weather also is going to play a very big role because it's very hot where they are playing and it's very humid. So they need to really sustain the weather. The team that can uh, be able to conserve their energy and be able to attack even on the second half, I think is the team that's going to take
Well, we'll see what happens.
the game.
We'll see what happens. I don't think the weather is going to be the big issue. Now you've got Dumfries is going to be going head to head with Mazraoui because we know Dumfries is going to be overloading. Mazraoui has done a good job so far, and Hakimi is the one that goes forward. So fortunately for Haaland, Hakimi won't be facing because Hakimi is the right back. Mazraoui is the left. Dumfries is the well, actually, yeah, Dumfries is on the left also. So that means Dumfries is going to be going. Yeah, we'll be going head to head with
It's
Hakimi.
Hakimi.
Yeah, so that they need to watch out for that. That's why I said if I were Holland, I would tone it down a little bit and try to play more possession game because Holland can get away. I think Holland can control the ball in this game. What you call it? Morocco is not. They don't control the ball. What they do is they absorb. They're hard to break down and they counter. So if I were Holland, I would try to slow down the pace of the game a little bit, unless they want to go score for score. But we know that doesn't work. Score for score doesn't work against Morocco. What are your thoughts, Sagodi? Yeah.
No, absolutely. Morocco, it's very good when they don't have the ball. Like if they give the next team the ball, that's when they really dangerous. But if they dominate the ball, normally they do struggle. We've seen it during AFCON when they
Yeah.
struggle against teams like Tanzania when they have the ball. So Holland is the team that has to dominate the ball and make sure that they use the ball very, very effectively. So I think
Yeah.
Morocco, they're gonna give the ball to Holland.
Yes, I'm going to say slight advantage to Holland, maybe 2-1, 3-2, maybe. Only because they have more depth. And I think in the second half with substitutions and things like that, like you said, the weather, I don't see Morocco having as much depth, but you never know what can happen. But this game could very well go into penalties or overtime. What are your predictions for the game, Sagodi?
It's gonna be a very, very tight game, but uh, my wish is Morocco might take it by 1-0, even though
Yeah, but you're
Holland
saying
is a very
wish.
good.
What do you think will happen? It's not about wish. What do you think will happen?
I think Morocco will take it by 1-0.
Okay, why? Give your explanation. You guys like to say the score, but you don't say how you. What's the
Okay,
explanation?
okay. My explanation is I know Morocco is very sound defensively. They'll stay low block. They'll never give any chances, and they'll hit uh, Holland on a counter attack, get that one goal in the second half.
That's why I'm saying Holland has more depth. If I were Holland, I wouldn't press too much. I'll try to use the young, and I'll bring Reinders back and let Reinders and the young try to build up play through central areas rather than through the wings, and to try to break down Morocco's defense. And I would also wait for them. I'll set up a trap and try to get Hakimi to come forward, and then use that to counter on them. So if I were Holland, I'll try to play more like Morocco. You understand what I'm saying? Sit patient.
Yeah,
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's going to be a close game. So, but I'm going to be voting for Morocco, even though I hear that in Morocco, black people are slaves. They capture black people. They don't want to be part of us, but I'll still vote for them. Anyway, I hope they're not watching the show. They're going to, a lot of people are going to unsubscribe. But I'm voting for Morocco to make it through because they're an African nation, whether they know it or
yeah.
not. All right. Sagodi, take us out.
Okay. It's been another great show. We've been discussing Morocco and Netherlands. Please subscribe, like, and share, and catch us on the next video. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so I'll see you later for the South Africa match. Okay, thanks. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mustafa.
Okay.
All right.